So you may have heard of Ellington fountain pens from their very active social media marketing. In those ads, they say that they are the smoothest fountain pen on the market and that they compare with luxury fountain pens many times more the price. Well, today, let's take a peek behind this brand and put that claim to the test to see if it is truly an affordable, very affordable luxury fountain pen. My name is Hemingway Jones and I make videos about fountain pens, inks, journals, and journaling for curious people like you. Let's lift the lid off of Ellington fountain pens. If you go to Ellington's website, there's a video that tells their story, and it goes that there was this gentleman named Ethan Ellington who lives in London, and during lockdown he decided to design a fountain pen, eliminate all the middlemen. There's always a bit of that going on in these sorts of videos, and to give you a product that's comparable in quality as to others. Of course, we've seen this before. We've seen this with Daniel Wellington and those watches that were Alibaba quality watches. They were selling for a few $100s, if you remember them. And it's kind of interesting that Daniel Wellington and Ethan Ellington sound remarkably the same. So I don't know if Ethan Ellington actually exists. I did a short Google search and I couldn't find him except for that website. And I took a peek on LinkedIn and I couldn't find anything there either. I find some of the stuff on the website a bit suspicious. If they're based in London, why is everything quoted in US dollars? Why does all the copy feel like it was written by AI? Why is all the word spelling done in American English? These are questions I cannot answer, but I put it out there for your consideration. But let's set that all aside, because you can have kind of a fun, fraudulent story and still be a fantastic brand. I mean, there's no Victoria, and she doesn't really have any interesting secrets that they've ever told us. And J. Peterman was made up, and you know, that's a lot of fun. So it doesn't all have to be exact. There's certainly a bit of obfuscation in all marketing, and I'm a sucker for marketing sometime. But let's look at these pens on their own merit and see how they do. So here we have two beautiful fountain pens from the Ellington Pen Company. We have the Scarlet and we have the Stealth. Let's take a look at the Scarlet first. It's a very metal pen in a beautiful shiny red. It has this octagonal cap, which is very distinctive. Looks like you could get a little wrench on there if you wanted to. It looks a bit like a mace in case you need to defend yourself. The pen itself, it seems to be wider at the top and tapers ever so slightly to the bottom. It is a snap cap. It's somewhat inelegant. It snaps nicely enough, but pulling it off feels like it takes a bit more pressure than I would like. It's a little bit of a fight. But the pen itself is pretty enough. It has sort of a cross vibe to it, and it reminds me a little bit of Scrivener fountain pens, but I find Scrivener at least very, very honest in everything that they're putting out there, or at least transparent. A pretty pen, and it does post. These pens retail for around $40, but they are commonly 15% off, so I would consider it around $34. So this is in the price range of a TWSBI, and I would think that anyone who is buying one of these is probably a first-time fountain pen buyer. So is this money well spent, or is it purely going to marketing? I guess we'll find out. Another extraordinary claim that they make is that it's the first fountain pen to be both balanced, posted and unposted, and I can put that claim to the test simply enough and say that it's ridiculous. I mean, It feels like any other fountain pen, posted or unposted. Unposted, to me, it feels rather light and nimble and nice. And if you post it, it puts a lot of weight at the back because you have this pommel on the back, which is quite heavy and it's weighing it down. So it's nonsense. It's a regular fountain pen in that regard. I mean, there are fountain pens that are balanced posted or not posted, but sadly, this is not one of them. For that to happen, the cap would have to take up a big part of the body. So let's run through some of the details here. We do have very nice shiny metal, presumably stainless steel. The fit and finish is fantastic. There's nothing loose on this pen. It's nice and shiny and glossy and slick and well put together. Probably in some of the factories that some Parker and Cross pens are made now. It has a Yovo nib. I reached out to them for clarification on who makes their nibs, and it is indeed a Yovo nib with their E for Ellington on it. It's supposed to be the smoothest, so we will also put that to the test. It has a nice, interesting feed. It has some fins, but they don't feel delicate, and it has a nice slope to it. One of the things I do like, it's a little squeaky, needs a little oil, but one of the things I really do like is that it comes with a converter. So we can fill right from the bottle. It comes with cartridges as well. Oh boy, is that squeaky. But we will be ignoring those for today. Let's take a look at the Stealth. So the Stealth is a beautiful black version of the same pen, also octagonal. Now this is representative of their first pen issuances, so they've enshrined it in the design. The highlights on this pen are glossy black, like wet ink, whereas the body and the cap are matte black. The grip itself is glossy. Maybe you might want to rethink that, make this a little textured, but you know what? It's not bad. So I think we can handle holding on to the fountain pen there. There's a little ridge here to catch our fingers from sliding onto this beautiful black Yovo nib. I do like that. Very similar to the other. This one is less squeaky, which is nice. And it has a converter as well. So these are our pens. I've picked some inks for them. We want to put that smoothest fountain pen in the world claim to the test. So I have Konpeki. I'm going to put in the Scarlet. And I'm going to use Yamabudo in the Stealth. I think that is a nice combination. So let's fill these bad boys up. So the paper we're going to use today is Clairefontaine Pupitre, which I use quite frequently in all of my pen tests. Here's one for a Pelikan M1000. So let's try it out. Well, their boldest claim is that this Ellington fountain pen is the smoothest writing fountain pen in the world. Purported to be designed in England, built in China with a German Yovo nib, and it's supposed to be the smoothest. From what they tell me, I don't think they do anything extra to it, but let's see how that claim holds up. We have Konpeki ink in here. Wow, that's funny. I will say that this pen is pretty smooth. Now, is it the smoothest fountain pen I've ever written with in my life? No. But is it smooth and does it feel nice? It is a fine nib and it feels really flowy and nice. Do my drawing test usually shows some of the inequities of a nib, if it's going to false start or if some angle of approach does not give you a nice smooth experience. It'll show as you sort of doodle around. It's not showing. It's a terrible drawing though. Boy, that's bad. I should go back to writing. So ooh, I rather like that scribing noise. pretty surprisingly smooth. At least that much of their claims is holding up. Now, certainly not the smoothest fountain pen that I've ever written with, but a decent JoWo nib experience. Very smooth, very flowy. Let's try the other pen, the Stealth with Yamabudo. Here is that very interesting Stealth fountain pen. For some reason, the black one feels heavier. I think it's a bit of a trump loy. It's fooling my eye. I'm looking at it thinking it's black, so it's heavier. It has more mass. It feels a bit more solid than the red, but it's definitely a heavier pen. Let's put that Yamabudo to the test. Boy, I love Yamabudo. Ooh. So once again, very flowy. This is a fine nib, and it feels very nice, very flowy. It's as noisy as the other nib, but it almost feels like it's on a different frequency. Do you hear that? It's a decent signing pen. I'll give it that. This is a very fine writing pen. It's enjoyable. It's a little heavy. I don't know what this would be like posted. It feels very, very heavy to me. And it's fighting me. Now, remember, I'm a reformed poster, so I don't like to post pens too much, but I definitely feel like the back is weighing me down. It wants to tip over. But, you know, on reliability, on performance, I have to give this pen pretty high marks. It's not the smoothest in the world, but it's pretty darn smooth. The nibs feel very nice. They're very competent writers. So let's sum it up. We have a roughly $34 fountain pen here from Ellington Pens. Comes with a JoWo nib, made out of metal, stainless steel, polished nicely. Fit and finish seems decent. It's a bit on the heavy side. It does come with a converter so you can fill from the bottle. It also comes with some cartridges, so you're getting some things. If you like a heavier pen, a nice pen that looks like it will fit in with any business setting if you want to take it to work, or if you want to use it for journaling or anything else. So you are getting something for your $34. I will give you that. Like, I don't feel like this is a ripoff. If they were charging $100 or something like that, I would be very wary. But, you know, $34, that's entry level price pen for one with decent fit and finish. Now, where we get into trouble is it worth it? You have to compare it to a broad range of other pens. I would take a TWSBI Eco over this pen. It also has a JoWo nib. It's a demonstrator, holds a lot of ink. It just is its own thing a little more than this. This feels like it's wrapped up in a lot of an enigma of marketing, where a TWSBI is very transparent and it's a demonstrator, so it's really transparent. So if I were to weigh it against those, I would come out that way. However, you put it up against something like a Jinhao X159, which you can get for, you know, $4, $6, whatever you want to pay on Alibaba. And it has about a 50% chance of actually showing up to your door. So if you do that and compare it against that, I'd say that this is an expensive pen. But in all honesty, looking at a lot of different pen brands, and even some of the pen brands that we all know that are made in China, $34 for a pen of this quality feels about right. It's not the worst. But let's run through some of the things I do have issues with. Okay, so let's run through some things I really don't like so much. I really don't like their distinctive octagonal top. It just feels a bit heavy and it weighs the pen down. I don't like to post this pen. I feel like it's way too back heavy in the way it's balanced. So their claims about being perfectly balanced are not very accurate. I am not a fan of how tough it is to open, not so much this one, but this one. This one, it just is a little bit sticky, where this one opens a little better, but it's a bit inelegant the way it's engineered, and I have to take points off for how squeaky it is. Ooh, it's so squeaky. Oh man, is that squeaky? You guys can hear that, right? Squeaky, squeaky. Yeah, so I definitely have to take, oh man. Woo, I have to take points off for that. So aesthetically, it is very pretty though. This black stealth is really nice, and it is a pretty wet pen, as you can see from there, and the fact that I got ink on myself just by touching the nib. So it's a decent writer. It has some nice attributes. I think you need to decide whether or not you want to put $34 out for a pen like this or for something like a TWSBI Eco. But it is what it is, and they're very nice pens. It's solid, not really for me, but nevertheless a decent fountain pen for $34, if but a bit heavy and a strange story to go with it. So that's where we end up today. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experiences with Ellington pens and how you're getting on with them. They certainly are smooth. We gotta give them that. So thanks so much for watching. If you've reached this point, please subscribe. If you know anybody else who might like this video, send it to them. I'd be delighted to meet them. And if you want to support the channel even more, membership is available. Come on behind the scenes and help to keep the lights on. So I make new videos all the time, not usually as straightforward as this, but this was fun too. So I can promise you this, I have a live show coming up Tuesday nights at 8, so I could see you then as well. And I can promise you we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care, and thanks for watching.